Hey everyone, Miss Dempsey here. Here we are with another episode of Gran Turismo Sport Racing, and here we are on Suzuka Circuit. We're here for the daily B race, so this race will be nice, short, and sweet. We got 4 laps, starting in third, which is a pretty good position. So let's go ahead and see if we can finish in first place. And this episode is a little interesting, or this race as well is a little interesting because with the cars up ahead and mine, we both excel in different areas. And here actually we have another contender behind us in the RCF in first place, already going off track. So he's already going to be one less thing to worry about. All we have to worry about is first place. But as I was saying, so the RCF behind us right here, he's really fast in the straights or just in long stretches where you don't have to do much turning or braking, turning, whatever. But here in the turns, you can already see I'm already pulling away from him as he's struggling to make the turns. So now we're focusing back on first place because once again, our eyes are on first place. I don't want to be second for life. But here we have a few more turns, so I can definitely try to see if I can catch up to him. And I'm catching up to him a little bit, except I go just a tiny bit wide, so he's going to pull away a bit more. But once again, I'm going to reel him back in with this hairpin turn right here, but it's not going to matter too much just because he has an insane acceleration, insane speed right here in these long stretches. So if I really want to catch up to him and maybe even try to overtake him, it's going to have to be within the first half of the track because that's where all the turns are. That's where the 4C excels. And for the TT Cup, anywhere that involves a straight, he should be able to have an advantage over me. And here we are. He's starting to pull away once again. And actually, one of the interesting things I found out is that when it comes to the McGain Trophy, you can go through this turn flat out. You don't even have to lift the throttle because the car's already going at the speed that you want to be. So all you have to do is just time your turn right and the car will take care of the rest. So if you haven't tried it out yet, try the McGain Trophy before the races switch, or try it out in the time trial mode and see what you think of it. Here we go, starting lap 2. And once again, we're kind of just pulling away from the rest of the pack. And I'm not even worried about third place. And here, this is where I get to start to excel. And you just keep a close eye on the distance between first place and I. He already went a bit wide, so I'm already starting to get a bit of an advantage. And here, he has to really slow down because the car tends to get a little understeery. And before you even know it, I'm almost right behind him. And here we go. Now I'm right behind him. Just knowing that I caught up to him, I can really start to put a lot of pressure on him, try to force a big mistake out of him and get myself into first place. Here we got a couple more turns, and here we go. And he brakes just a tad bit too late, but he barely saves it, but at the price of going a little slower and going pretty wide. So now I'm right on his side. And this is getting pretty intense. He brakes just a tad bit too late, goes a little wide, and I'm going to go ahead and hit the apex, leave enough space for him to get through if he needs to. But that's the thing. His car accelerates much faster than mine. It has a better speed than my car. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to let him in front because there's nothing I can really do, right? So my objective now is to try to stay as close behind him as I can. He's going to get a better run out of me through these sections right here where we're going flat out. He almost spins out a little bit, so I can catch up a little bit more. But anyways, I'm going to try to see how close I can stick behind him through this section, try to get some of that slipstream benefit, and that way I can really try to get up on his rear bumper in the turns, just like right here, for a tiny bit, and try to force a bigger mistake out of him. So here we are, we're about to enter lap 3, and he knows I'm right behind him, and he's kind of just trying to shake me off a little bit. He's hanging out in the middle of the track, so he's still trying to shake me off just a little bit, but he knows I can't dive bomb him, So he's going to take the outside line. He doesn't have to worry about taking the inside line. And once again right here, I'm going to go ahead and get the run on him eventually. and that's the thing. When it comes to doing these daily races, or even just any race in general, you got to know where your car excels at. Does your car excel at turning? Does your car excel at accelerating, speed? Those kind of things. And that's why you tend to see kind of like a metal car when it comes to the daily races, because everyone knows it's like, okay, yeah, this car, let's say with the Megane Trophy, this car excels in this track here at Suzuka because it can handle the turns really greatly. Or maybe with the TT Cup, it might not do so good in the turns, but this car has a speed to make up the difference in the straights, things like that. And I know, like, I've been checking the daily race time trial times for this one, and it's had a kind of like a healthy mix of cars. So you'll see some people in this car, the TT Cup, some in the 4C Group 4, some in the WRX. So I mean, there isn't really a meta car, like one meta car. There's actually like a variety of them, in which I kind of like. I like to try out different cars and see where I can try to get the most comfortable with them. Try to squeeze as much time out of the time trial with that car. Here he goes a little wide into the AstroTurf, and surprisingly he didn't spin out. I would imagine that he would have just ended up dying. Just because I've done that a lot of times before. Don't ask. Alright, so here we're going to go ahead and enter the last lap, and here I make the grave mistake of hitting the rev limiter. I completely forgot to shift, so now I'm here just feeling a little silly, and now I'm really trying to catch up, but the car just ends up sliding just a little bit. I'm going to lose a bit of time. It's not too much, but luckily I was able to save it from getting it any more chaotic. But still, we still have all these turns. The Audi TT Cup Car is going to have to go through these turns just like I do, and he knows I excel in these turns, so it's like that slide never happened. I'm already gaining time on him, and I'm somehow got a purple sector through there. Interesting. But I have to get the overtake done now, at least before the hairpin. I have to somehow find all this time to catch up to him, overtake him, and hold him off into the straightaways, because once we get to the straightaways, he's going to have a huge advantage over me. But unfortunately, that's not really going to be the case. I mean, I get a little bit behind him, but it's not going to do me any good, as he's going to start pulling away right now since his car has a speed. And that's one of the things that you have to kind of know about your opponents, right? Like the moment you see the car that they're using for the daily race or even the FIA races. For example, with the TT Cup, it doesn't do well in turns, as you see right here, but when it comes to straightaways, that car is just going to fly away and leave all the competitors behind. Whereas with my car, once again, good in handling, not good in speed. So it's actually really interesting just to see the contrast of these two cars, and how at the end of the day for this track, they're really neck and neck. And it's also going to come down to how the driver feels in the cars that they're using. Like, do they feel more comfortable using the TT Cup or the 4C? Can they get more out of these cars? And yeah, this was honestly a very interesting race, just because we got to see two different cars excel in completely different areas, and yet we were still able to get a very close race. If I remember correctly, he finished 0.6 of a second ahead of me. And yeah, that's all for the video. I don't want to ramble on for too much. And thank you for tuning into the video. Thank you for the 800 plus, 850 plus subscribers. You guys are really awesome. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy the rest of this weekend. This is Mr. MCA, the world's most okay player, and I'll see you in the next video.